Hi, my name's Ivan Frischberg. I'm the Director of Impact Policy for Amalgamated Bank.
I'm Marilyn Waite. I lead the climate finance work at the Hewlett Foundation.
We've been working together to make sure banks and asset managers are part of the solution to the climate crisis.
You can't fix climate without fixing finance.
Finance has quite literally financed the climate crisis.
That's why it is great to hear some banks begin to commit to net zero emissions in their portfolios by 2050. But how do we know if those plans are real and not just greenwashing? The answer to how we make sure banks do what they say is simple: measurement.
Specifically, a standardized, easy-to-understand way of measuring carbon emissions from portfolios.
Today, many banks, asset owners, and managers don't measure the carbon impact of their portfolio. And if they do, they are not making it public.
Let that sink in. Year over year, there's no way to tell if finance is responding to the climate crisis. We just don't know. The financial industry, or anyone selling you an investment product, likes to talk about ESG, or environmental, social, and governance.
But ESG products and what banks sometimes call sustainable finance are all over the place. Some are great, but some ESG portfolios actually contain coal-fired power plants.
We can only manage what we measure, and different measurements lead to different results. In finance, basic measurements we take for granted today, like verifying financial statements around profit and loss, were not made mandatory until the U.S. was deep in trouble during the Depression. To this day, those measurements and disclosure requirements help investors and retail consumers make informed decisions.
That's why measuring carbon and standardizing how we do it is a small thing that can have a huge impact. It can change the entire financial system so we can actually address the climate crisis.
This is the idea behind the Partnership for Carbon Accounting Financials, or PCAF. PCAF is a standard, universal, transparent way to measure financed emissions in a loan or investment portfolio. This method for carbon accounting has real momentum. In recent weeks, many big banks such as Morgan Stanley, NatWest, Bank of America, Lloyds, and Citigroup have announced that they will start measuring and disclosing the climate emissions of their portfolios, joining the sustainable banks such as Amalgamated and the Dutch bank Triodos.
Everyone watching this should choose banks that are part of the solution to climate change. Ask your bank if they are measuring, reporting, and reducing the carbon in their loans and investments. The only way we can take the big 2050 financial goals seriously is to measure them.